Now, with the reveal of the Battlefield 2026 roadmap, there's clearly a ton of positives. And like I spoke about in my impressions video, the biggest takeaway is that this marks a massive shift where DICE is actually listening to Battlefield fans and shifting away from the Call of Duty clone they failed to capitalize on. Perhaps their 2026 roadmap is a little unoriginal. Like, Jesus Christ, how many Wake Island remakes can we stand to have? But it at least dips back into their treasure chest of great legacy content while still moving the franchise forward. In general, this roadmap feels like Battlefield. Big maps, classic scenery, iconic weapons, massive scale, and a slight increase to content quantity. At the same time, it looks to move the franchise forward as DICE finally announces the return of RedSec Elite and brings in massive game changers like platoons, persistent servers, proxy chat, and the classic server browser. The 2026 roadmap isn't just remastered content, it was a promise to rebuild the foundation of the game while relying on time-tested content to satisfy fans. But being DICE and EA, I'm still rather cautious. So in today's video, let's cover my top 3 most anticipated features, as well as my top 3 most worrisome features coming over the next few months. So if that sounds good and you enjoy in-depth reviews and discussions about all things Battlefield, drop a like and hit subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, kicking things off with perhaps the shiniest part of the reveal, I gotta say I'm hyped for Naval Warfare. Naval Combat, Battlefield 4's Naval Strike DLC in particular, has always represented what sets Battlefield apart from the rest. Naval Warfare is the best representation of how beautiful, complex, and deep the Battlefield experience can be. I'd argue maps like Battlefield 5's Pacific Storm and Battlefield 4's Wavebreaker are amongst the most graphically impressive experiences in the franchise, with water physics, dynamic weather, and amphibious vehicles pushing the art team and devs to their limits more than any other sort of map, with Paracel Storm being the pinnacle of all of these environments. These maps are the peak of what Battlefield is, whether it's the complexity of carrier assault, the dynamic gameplay of water physics, or the stunning visuals of Paracel Storm. These sort of experiences honor the franchise, please fans, and push the team. Naval Warfare needs to be shot to the moon with marketing when it releases, and I'm all here for it, as it's a true game changer for Battlefield 6. Next up, and most likely the biggest feature for any hardcore Battlefield fan, the return of the server browser, but also persistent servers, which means players will be able to find servers on their own based on pinning, map rotation, or game mode, then stick with the same people in the same server as long as they'd like. Now, while the simple fact of giving players more agency over their experience is important, the fact you can play all night, going head-to-head with the same players, talking shit, making friends, and rematching round after round is huge for the community. Add these sorts of experiences on top of platoons, clan tags, and control over your matchmaking preferences, and players are about to have more meaningful moments in the game, making friends, running it back, and creating communities who bookmark and check in with the same servers every night. But add on my final hyped edition, and the Battlefield community experiences are about to change forever. Now, while there's a ton of great stuff coming, Proxy Chat is the last feature I have to highlight. I don't know why it took so long for this feature to show up in the franchise, but my god, it could change everything. While I'm sure it'll start in just the Battle Royale, Proxy Chat could be the final piece of the Battlefield puzzle. Persistent servers found via a server browser where players can band together in platoons and now talk shit with their enemies with in-world Proxy Chat. That's a huge shift to Battlefield and how players view the experience. Whether it's just RedSec or eventually the full game, it changes the whole concept of blueberries into real, living, and talking people all around you in this massive immersive battle, an experience many of us have dreamed about for years. Alright, moving into where I'm worried, the big one's gotta be ranked, and that's coming from someone who's really hyped to play it. While I'm not hyped for Battle Royale ranked per se, cause that's the dumbest mode ever to add rank to, I'm excited to test myself and track my stats against other players when it comes to the core multiplayer. But I'm a little worried Battlefield is going to embarrass itself. There's a lot of good reasons they postponed RedSec Elite. Primarily, they would have embarrassed the shit out of themselves with so many high-tier players showing up, the world watching, and $1 million on the line when the game black-screened or players fell through the map. The game wasn't ready for that level of play, and I'm not sure it is even today. But more concerningly, they pushed ahead anyways, not stopping until the fanbase ripped apart all the bugs and balance issues, things the devs let slide or didn't acknowledge early enough. So I worry that Battlefield, especially with the netcode situation, ass-backwards balance, and never-ending bugs won't ever be sound enough for this level of esports. And the devs won't even see the issues right in front of them, letting things slide like they did through labs in the first round of RedSec Elite back this winter. I love the idea of a ranked playlist and tournaments that could bring a lot of eyeballs back towards the game, but I worry this dev team isn't the right people to be running such a high-stakes esports tournament, but I guess time will tell. Moving on, again, I'm hyped for all the new content, but the fact that devs are so heavily having to turn to remastered content isn't a great sign for the future of the franchise. While Goldmud, Bazaar, Wake Island, and another secret remastered map are welcome, the fact that new maps have become such a pain point since Battlefield 1 is a huge problem. There's something fundamentally wrong with the current state of Battlefield map development, its playtesting, or inspiration, often resulting in open fields of nothingness or cramped, busy hellscapes with too many lines of sight to contend with. They've really lost their ability to create robust, 3-lane maps with clear visibility and those monumental Battlefield moments like Siege of Shanghai, Flood Zone, or Paracel Storm. I feel like the whole game is really stuck on Modern Warfare 2019. Hyper-real, dense maps, a standard free-to-play battle royale, and no more magical Levolution moments in the pursuit of more grounded, smaller arenas. I'd kill to see old mechanics like Flood Zone re-engineered into a new design, or maps with great lane design like Amiens return. But instead, we got Sobek and Blackwell, perfect examples of modern Battlefield's map design philosophies that are so bad they're being redesigned. Finally, the thing that worries me the most is the fact that EA and the devs once again learned their lesson way too late. We went from peaks of hundreds of thousands, even nearly 1 million players online at once per platform, to tens of thousands. DICE may have already burnt all the fans' goodwill with the cash grab that was the vanilla game. This announcement, as great as it was way too late and came after way too much turmoil. And you can tell this wasn't part of the plan. You can tell this game had way more issues than expected after they talked themselves up with a RedSec Elite, a battle royale to replicate 2020 Warzone, and the kickoff of a huge live service. But ultimately, and once again, they fumbled the game right out of the gate, practically canceled their push into esports, immediately halted their live service, and went radio silent as they scrambled to fix issues that should have been discovered and fixed years ago throughout development across their 4 world-class studios. But yet, again, here we are. EA blew it all away, rushing an unfinished product out the door, and is now groveling to fans to come back. Well over 95% of fans left, and they once again do the song and dance of Battlefield 2.0 to try to coax us back. And look, Battlefield 6 has crazy potential, and perhaps with the right marketing, maybe the game can recapture a decent portion of the player base. But Season 2 shouldn't have been your foundation that was supposed to happen during the beta. So here we are, 4 years in development, 6 months since release, $500 million in development, 20 million copies sold, 95% of the player base is gone, and DICE is again playing catch-up because they can never learn their lesson. Shout out to EA and the devs not totally giving up, but damn, it's a bit late to finally give in to players' demands. But like always, stay tuned and subscribe for everything Battlefield, and as always, thank you guys for watching.